All right, everyone. So let's get started. First, I want to say thank you all for joining me today. I'm super excited about today's session with everyone. This is kind of an encore of the same webinar I did last month. It's really important to get your marketing plan set at the beginning of the year, and that way you know what kind of initiatives and goals you're shooting for. So what we're going to focus on today is building your 2023 Internet Marketing Plan. And the emphasis of what we want to focus on is helping you maximize your lead flow online. In other words, to maximize your visibility and dominance online when it comes to your local service area in order to generate more leads and obviously more sales online. And so before we get started, just want to send everyone this link where they can download a workbook. This is so you can follow along. I'm going to kind of give you guys a little bit of homework, some things to think about. I really want you guys to come away with some information and some actionable items that you can implement. So if you download this workbook, it helps you follow along, fill in some notes, fill in some goals. Really want everyone engaging and making sure you have those actionable items that you can get started on today, start implementing and start seeing some of the value in some of these marketing strategies. This really is one of the most important marketing topics of all the trainings that we do throughout the year. We typically do a training workshop about every month or so, but this is definitely one that to really pay attention to and to really get your foundation set for what your year is going to look like. So we have a lot of stuff that I want to cover today. But what I really want to focus on today is to help you make sure that you have clear goals for 2023 as it relates to internet marketing. And it comes down to analyzing how many leads you actually need to generate on a monthly basis in order to hit your monthly and annual revenue targets. Next is the 3 fundamentals to online marketing success. We'll dive into that a little more. We're also going to cover how to optimize your website for conversions in 2023 and beyond. Of course, Google is constantly moving the goalpost, moving the target. So kudos to everyone here for being on a workshop like this and making sure that you've got the latest information from Google. Also, we'll talk about the big picture of online marketing channels that you should be tapping into to maximize your lead flow online. This is what we call our online dominance method. We talk about the key methods and marketing channels that you should be tapping into. And then we'll spend some time on the latest trends for 2023 in digital marketing. There's new things that come out in the last 6 to 12 months that are really making big impacts on your overall marketing strategy. And I want to make sure you guys know about them and that you're tapping into those and that you don't miss the boat on that front. And then we're going to really dive in and develop your custom action plan based on where you're at right now, where you're looking to go, and to help you gain some clarity on what you and your team should be focused on to really maximize your sales potential in 2023. So I'm just going to ask everybody, I would love to have your undivided attention. Turn off your cell phones, turn off Facebook. If you're a home improvement business owner and you're serious about getting better results in 2023, then the next 60 to 75 minutes really have the potential to change the trajectory of your business going into the new year. I know my tendency is to have multiple screens open and multiple tabs, usually 50 or more. I know that when I close things down, though, and just stay present in the moment, and I focus on what I'm doing right now, I always get the best results. So I'd like to ask you guys to do just that. Just be here, be present. You've decided to be on this workshop, and in order to get the most out of it, let's give it our undivided attention. So just a quick blurb about me and why you should listen to me. I'm admittedly a computer geek since way back in the mid-'80s when I first learned how to write code and write computer programs. I'm also the author of the book on internet marketing for contractors and builders, which I promise is the definitive guide when it comes to internet marketing for home improvement companies. I'm also an associate member of the National Association of Home Builders, the National Association of the Remodeling Industry, as well as the National Kitchen and Bath Association. I'm a former remodeler and real estate developer, having developed some million-dollar properties here in Denver. And so I know the challenges of working with customers as well as how to find those customers. And I'm very passionate about helping home improvement companies succeed online. I'd love seeing a new client have huge success with our programs and looking at some of those graphs and metrics that just, kind of start to take off. It always makes me giddy. I'm kind of a numbers guy in that regard. But really, I'd say more importantly than any of that is I've had the opportunity at this point to work with lots of home improvement business owners in some of the most competitive markets in the United States, including roofing, remodeling, HVAC, plumbing, windows installations, and more, and in some of the largest cities in America. And I'm proud to say that me and my team have been able to help a lot of these companies go from virtual obscurity online to the point where they now dominate their local markets. Lots of them getting in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 calls a month for the lower volume trades, and well over 100 calls every single month for higher volume industries like HVAC and roofing, all directly through the internet, and every single call tracked by us. When I share with you, it's really based on real world, in the trenches experience with remodelers and home improvement companies and builders and the like. We've built tons of websites. We have access to the analytics and metrics on all those websites, ranging from remodeling to roofing and home builder websites, and a lot of other industries related to home improvement, so we can kind of see the differences. And so we're going to share what works, and throughout the course of this session, I'll be really sharing specific examples and case studies. That way you can get a sense of what's possible when you implement this in your business. I see that we have a couple of clients on our today's call, so I'm really happy to have you with us. Love that you guys are always adding more knowledge to the knowledge base. This is just as much for you as it is for those that are just on here to learn and that might be interested in implementing a more higher octane digital marketing strategy in the future at some point. So this is what we do. We help contractors and home improvement companies increase their sales from the internet and ultimately to increase their annual revenue. We have an expert team of specialists that are each trained in their particular discipline, whether it be SEO or running pay-per-click ads or crafting social media calendars. But the main driving force is that we're really passionate about what we do. We work exclusively with home improvement companies, and this is what we do all day, every day. So whether you're a roofer, a remodeling company, a general contractor, or maybe you just do gutters and sidings or perhaps windows and doors installation, we've worked with tons of companies all across the United States. So we've already created a template for success that you can really reap the benefits from. If at some point you'd like the opportunity to talk to us about possibly working with you, that's not the objective of today's session. The objective is to give you a clear plan. But if you would like to talk, you'll have the opportunity to schedule with us. You can put in chat if you want, to ping me, and then we can talk about implementing some of these marketing strategies for your company later on. But right now, I want to keep this all about education and giving you a plan to succeed. So before we get started, I'd like to hear from you guys in the comments. We have over 60 people registered for the webinar, I think it is. But I'd love to hear from everyone on the call and get some feedback and some input along the way. You'll get much more learning out of this session if you engage, if you fill in your workbook, take some notes, set some goals. And as a result, you'll actually get the results that you're striving for your company, which is to build a plan to get better results in 2023 and hopefully to grow that revenue. So we'll be very interactive. And so when I ask questions, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. My first question for you guys, though, is what's the hardest part about marketing your home improvement business online? Just post in the comments. I'd like to hear from a couple of you guys to gain your insights on this. Ali says that particular demographics can be difficult. Older folks are, the more likely they aren't on the social media channels. Yeah, exactly. You really, that's one of the things that we'll point out, we'll talk about. We talk about that more in our SEO webinar, and how to optimize your website for conversions workshop, which we'll be doing next month. But really understanding who your ideal customer avatar is. That's really important. If you know who your ideal customer is, what they're looking for, what they want to get out of relationships, what some of the fears and implications are, the better you understand them, the better you can craft your messaging around your website content, your social media content. Everything you do from a content perspective needs to be dialed in from a messaging perspective. And then Susan says, knowing how much to expect for your marketing spend. So exactly. And we're going to talk about that specifically, Susan. So that's a great question. This is where you kind of reverse engineer things. You want to make this much money. Well, then, based on your closing rates and inbound lead volume, how many leads do you need? So those are some great questions. Good stuff. Keep that coming in. Alonzo also mentioned tracking ROI. So definitely you want to make sure you're tracking everything, which channels work, which channels need to be deleted, making sure you're tracking every single channel, quantifying those leads and saying, hey, I got 75 calls, but only X amount were leads. You really want to know what that X number is. So great stuff there. You guys keep the interaction going in, because that's what we like to do here. This isn't just me going to talk for an hour or more. I want to see that interaction. So we can help each other. We can kind of be a little community here where we're really helping each other grow and really succeed in business. So as we start to dive into 2023 here, the very first thing that you really need to be thinking about, the very first thing is to set clear goals, right? You can't reach a goal if you never set a goal to begin with. So I hope everyone out there's setting goals. I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins. I've seen him live and also a fan of a lot of the other motivational experts out there. But Tony, he's got this great quote in one of his goal setting books. And that quote is, setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. We tend to get really busy with all the distractions of our day, all the devices and social media alerts screaming for our attention all day long. And then all the work issues that invade your day on what seems like a minute by minute endless stream. You can't find your tradesmen. They're MIA right now. You need to generate more leads. You're trying to work on getting your average job value up. Whatever it is, we get busy, right? A lot of that stuff can be truly classified as commentary. And what we need to do is be focused on our goals. What are we trying to accomplish? Where are we trying to get? Again, you can't reach goals if you don't have any goals to begin with. So what a great time here in the very first month of 2023, just to set really clear intentions and break down where we want to go and what it's going to take to get there. So there was a Harvard study done back in the day. What they did was they interviewed graduates who were setting out in the real world that year. They asked them, basically three questions. Do you have goals? Do you have a clear plan for accomplishing those goals? And do you have those goals written down? 84% of the graduates had no specific goals. They were like, okay, I'm going to graduate. I'm going to use my degree and life's going to be great, apparently. That was their plan. And then 13% had goals, but they weren't written down. And then 3%, and this is kind of 3% rule. 3% had clear written goals, and they had a plan that was written out. Here's where I'm going to get it, at least from a high level. How do I make that happen? And then the results of that study, the 13% that had goals, but they weren't written down, were earning 2 times more than the rest of the class. And even more staggering, and this is the whole point of what we're talking about here, is the 3% that had goals and had written down plans to accomplish those goals were earning 10 times as much. So really what I want to do here is tap into that 3% rule, give you guys that 10x advantage by giving you a little space to get clear right now on where you want to end 2023 and help you kind of reverse engineer that plan and have something written down that you can keep working and pressing forward towards. My goal setting framework is obviously to have written goals and plans. You need to set a minimum of a 1-year goal, of quarterly goals, monthly goals, and then you have to have a stopping point. And this is where I find most people miss. They've set a goal, and I used to do this for years myself. I'd set a goal and then kind of whatever. You work toward it. You spend some time in January on it, February, put some goals into a work document, and then you kind of lose track of it. And it had some benefit because I was thinking about my goals and putting them down on paper. But the true power of goals is knowing that you're going to put it in a place that you have to be held accountable for it, so that you know you've got a target date for that goal. A goal really isn't a goal unless you have a target date by which to attain that particular milestone. So your goal may be perhaps 100,000 a month in revenue by year's end, and then at the end of the year you're going to stop and say, okay, did I accomplish that goal? And if yes, you want to celebrate that, and if not, okay, I need to evaluate what did I do wrong, and if yes, what was it? Do I need to generate more leads? Was that the sticking point? Do we not convert at a high enough level in the field? Do we not have a high enough average ticket value? So you can make those adjustments so that the next month, the next year is even better. But I find that when you buy into the power of goals and then you put this type of ritual in place where you set the goals, you have a stopping point, you have something that you and your team are pressing forward towards, then you can really start building momentum and build what I think is the most valuable muscle that you can develop, which is the muscle that's the ability to set an intention, to do the activity and then accomplish that result. Because when you can really build that muscle, you can accomplish anything you want in your life and in your business. So I really want you guys and gals to think about, this. And that's why I'm spending the first, 10 minutes or so on today's session, really just talking about goals. So the first step in our worksheet is what's your target revenue? So if you could wave a magic wand and kind of project forward to the end of 2023, and I want you to write this down because that's the first thing that we want to do is have this stuff down and hold yourself accountable. But how much revenue do you want to end 2023 with? And then how does that break down monthly? So as simple as you're going to do whatever it is, $3 million, divide that by 12 months. What's that number? I want you guys to either write this down on a separate pad or put it in your worksheet I gave you. And then I also want to hear from some of you guys in the comments box, just so I can make sure that you're thinking about your goals and you're not just, making up possibly unrealistic numbers. Put in the comments, what's your target revenue for 2023? And then what's that monthly look like in order to make that happen? Janet says they're shooting for $1.5 million this year. So that's $125K a month. Awesome. Ernie said he's shooting for 200 grand this year. Excellent. We're all at different revenue points, some at a couple hundred grand, maybe some at 2 million or 20 million. We've got clients that go into the multiples of millions, 20, $30 million shooting for 50 million. So you can kind of be anywhere in that spectrum. It doesn't matter as long as you have that goal in mind. And then now you reverse engineer that and then put a plan in place to actually get there. So what I want to do is reverse engineer that target goal with an example here. So based on that, how many calls are you going to need to have to generate in order to make that goal a reality? And so to figure that out, at the most basic level, you want to take and write down your target revenue. And then how much is that monthly? And then what is the average value of each job, your average transaction value? I know this can vary. You might be doing $5,000 bathrooms and $500,000 full home renovations or custom homes. So you just got to kind of figure out the average. I had X amount of clients, Y amount of revenue, do the math, and then that's your average value. Obviously, it can skew to kind of one direction or another based on some big variances there. But the average ticket value is really going to show you where you're at in terms of can you get enough revenue just based on the amount of jobs that you think is going to work for you. And then divide that monthly by the average ticket. That gives you how many calls you need to run on a monthly basis in order to hit that target. And so, when it comes down to it, what does that number need to be? How many calls do you need to get on a monthly basis? The clearer you are on where you're going to end and what you need to do in order to get there, the better we can build a plan to fill that lead flow in. So I'm going to give you guys just a couple seconds here to fill this in. But as you can see with higher transaction values that we see in remodeling, full home renovations, residential, commercial roofing even, your goals are going to be very achievable if you put this marketing plan into place. And so one thing you want to figure out is what is your average conversion ratio, and then divide that by your target number of calls. And then that's how many leads, kind of on the surface, how many leads you will need to generate in order to reach your goal. Because when we're clear about the number of leads that you need to generate, then we can reverse engineer that to bring us to how do we fill a pipeline to accomplish that goal? How do we get the phone ringing at that level? How do we generate that number of leads so that you can actually hit that revenue target? So let's just say your average conversion value, your conversion rate basically from caller to a booked job is 33%. And you need 11 jobs a month to meet your goals. That would mean that you need 33 qualified leads per month in order to hit your target. So, this is going to be different for everyone. Your average transaction value, your average conversion rate, it's going to be different. So don't tie yourself to anyone else's standards. Just know what works for your company, know where you need to improve. But what I want to do with this math is just, put it up here so that you know that this is what you need. A lot of people don't even know, like, how many leads do I need to get? They might set their revenue, but they have no idea that, they're not getting even half the leads they need to get based on conversion rates, average transaction values, and things like that. So, put this up in your office maybe so that you always have that visual up there. Everyone sees that every day. That power of visualization works really well in helping keep you on track. Just want to read a comment here. Susan, tracking every single lead and sale. Awesome. Good to know. Yeah, so a lot of different goals on budgeting there, Susan. We'll follow up on that a little more, but definitely want to talk to you kind of how to budget for different goals and what you can expect, because SEO is different across different companies in terms of, are they a generalist, just doing SEO for everyone under the sun, which means you really can't be a master at every single industry out there, or are they very industry specific? They know, they have the metrics like we do that shows, hey, you're going to get probably this many leads and it's going to build at this rate over time, et cetera, et cetera. So this is how you can budget for it. And then do you put ads in there as well? How much do you budget for ads? Well, how many leads can you expect? How many clicks? So you really got to do a lot of engineering there. But I'm making a note, Susan, here to definitely follow up with you on that so I can help you understand budgeting a little better. So to jump back in here, what is your goal then when it comes to looking at that Harvard study and are you going to be that 3%? Will you be the 3% that actually writes down goals, puts a plan into place, and then follows those numbers throughout the year, pays attention to them on a monthly basis so that if you're on track each month or if you're starting to veer off track or not? So you really need to put these goals down and make sure that you have the plan in place. Like I said earlier, in regards to Susan's comment, is SEO going to get you there, or do you need to add some pay-per-click to that? Do you need to add some other type of ads? What do you need in your plan to actually help get you there in order to help you hit your targets and hit those goals at the end of the year? The next step is we want to make sure we're paying close attention to your marketing message. Oftentimes, we want to leave our marketing to whoever it is that handles the marketing strategy, and we just think they know what's going on. They know how to get you out from your audience. In a lot of cases, we do that, but this is what we do for a living. But there are a lot of companies in the industry, and there's new ones coming out all the time. Some good, some not so good. From many war stories that I've been privy to over the years. But you really want to make sure that whoever is putting your messaging out there, whether they're on your own team, even they need to understand digital marketing. They need to understand who your market is and then who that ideal customer avatar is, so that you, as the business owner, can keep running your business and know that the fundamentals of marketing are in place. And when I talk about the fundamentals. The three fundamentals I'm talking about is, what is your marketing message? Who is your market? Is it residential or commercial, or who is your ideal customer? In other words, is it the homeowner? Is it female or the male of the household that typically is making the calls, kind of, your point of contact? What's their age? What are their demographics and commonalities? So you really want to understand that ideal customer. And then number three is, what media and marketing channels will you use to get your message out? The clearer you can be on who your customer is, you can actually craft messaging around that, on why they should choose you versus working with a competition. This is why I want to spend some time today here in our 2023 planning session. It's because your message should be unique. It should be something that makes you stand out. It should resonate with your ideal customer. And really that message and market match, it informs us of the media and marketing channels that are going to work for you the best. What do we do with our website, and what directory sites do you need to be on? And should you be doing Google local service ads, which I'll be talking about later, and then kind of everywhere else on your social media channels, making sure all that messaging matches up and has a consistent voice, a consistent message, consistent goal. What I know is, when we have a message that resonates and that's perfectly on target with our ideal customer, the customer that you're looking to bring on as a new client, everything we do works better. Our lead generation pulls in leads better. Our average value from a lead tends to be better, tends to start coming up. And so it really comes down to, how do we get clear on who that ideal customer is? The best way to do it is just to spend a little time thinking about your ideal customer. The customer that you like to work with, the customer that isn't a pain in your neck, but it's willing to pay a premium. They're not. It's not a race to the bottom in pricing. No one wants that kind of customer. So we want to make sure to try to weed that stuff out. What else are we looking for? A customer that's flexible, that's willing to refer and pass your name around to others as well, if they have a good experience with you. So the best way to think about this, about your customer, in terms of, what are their pains and frustrations? What are their goals and desires of working with you? What are their fears and implications of those fears of having contractors in their house, or whatever it may be? And then what are their dreams and aspirations? What are they hoping to accomplish? This could be the dream renovation of a lifetime. So you really need to keep that in mind. This is someone's passion. This is everything they've poured into this. So the better you can understand that, the better off you'll be. And this is in our workbook as well. You can write these down on side notes. If you didn't get the workbook, I'll send that to you as well. But you want to make sure that you have this information now, because if you're not writing it down right now, you're probably not going to think about it as soon as you leave this workshop. So get it down on paper now and start thinking about, does my messaging on my website match my ideal customer? Am I reaching out to the right people with the right message? You really want to try to get this right. It's going to really affect everything you do. And so what we found is that typically we're talking about a homeowner that is on average between 35 and 55 years old. They've got a career, they've got extra disposable income, and probably even a dual income family. Typically, the female is the one making the buying decision. She is the boss of the household. She kind of runs the ship. Married, 2 to 3 kids. As the head of the household, she's making a lot of the decisions. She's going to be the person that kind of drives the day-to-day decisions for her family. And so you keep that in mind in your messaging. Annual income will vary greatly from market to market. However, obviously Dayton, Ohio is going to be much different in annual income than, say, Denver. So be clear on what your average household income is for your area, for your demographic, because then you can set targeting based around that. Also, is your ideal customer family oriented? Are they looking for that basement renovation? Are they easily frustrated? They don't have time to deal with this. Maybe, they have concerns with a current situation that needs your services. Kitchen's too small, working from home now, post-COVID, need an office build, things like that. So take some time to think about some of the character traits of your typical customer. And then also thinking about their fears and frustrations. This is really, where you can start to craft messaging that resonates with your customers. Because let's face it, their roof is falling on them. Their family has outgrown their tiny kitchen space. They need to build that new office space that I just talked about in our new world, post-COVID world. This is where you can really start to bridge the gap in your targeting. Maybe they can't get a company on the phone. Now, I know this doesn't happen with anyone on this call, but oftentimes I will try and call a plumber or get someone out to get an estimate on something on my house. And more often than not, I can't even get anyone to pick up the phone. So, how are you running your business if you're not answering your phone? That's something that, like I said, hopefully no one on this call is guilty of that. But getting clear on your ideal customers' pains and frustrations, and then drilling down on those fears. They're afraid they're going to be ripped off. They're going to be paying too much, for too much, for something that they could have gotten, a little better price. Having somebody come in that's maybe cheap, that damages their home or doesn't respect their property. One of the biggest fears is having to wait around for tradesmen to show up at their home. People are showing up late. Believe it or not, your ideal customer is busy. So their biggest thing is they don't want to waste time. They don't want to, pull out of work that day or cancel an important meeting so they can be available for your crew to show up late or worse, not even show up at all. So, treat them with respect. Their biggest concern is being inconvenienced by this whole thing, this whole remodel they might be doing. And they're a little bit worried about paying too much as well. And then from a goals and desires perspective, they just want the issue fixed. They want to be able to get it done and not have to worry about it. Check it off the list and know that now they've got this great new project result, this new space for their family, and now they can kind of move on with their lives. So, what is it for you that you've found really, really is a true thing that your customer wants? Again, it's going to be different for everyone on this call. But I knew this, if we can see John Jones through John Jones's eyes, then we can sell what John Jones wants to buy. So you really, it's really worth retooling this, rethinking about, at least, on an annual basis to make sure that your messaging is on point. You have clarity of who your customer is, and it will inform how you'll write the content for your website, the content for your social media posts, the type of ads that you might be running, the type of YouTube videos that you may be producing or we're producing for you. So being clear on your ideal customer can really change a lot about how you approach your marketing. Make sure you're clear on the whole trifecta here, the message, market, and media match, so you can develop good messaging and then figure out what media and what channels are going to work the best for you. So why should somebody try to do business with you versus the competition? It shouldn't be the obvious stuff like, we offer free estimates or saying you're the best in town. It should really be based on what it is about your company that's different, what really makes you stand out in your field. If you can find a point of difference and distinction, that's really where you can get a massive bump in how well your marketing is actually converting for you. And then what benefit do you offer to your ideal customer target, your target avatar, in other words? That's gonna resonate with them. What we're finding works best is just to make sure you're hitting those hot buttons. The more you can hit these hot buttons, when they're on your website, when they're reading your social updates, the better. So, it could be ease of scheduling, handling city permitting for them, that kind of stuff. That speaks to your customers that don't want to be inconvenienced. Straightforward pricing, upfront pricing, or satisfaction guaranteed. Nothing hidden in there, nothing that's going to really surprise folks at the end of the job. Take the risk off and making them feel confident that you're not going to rip them off. And then obviously trustworthy contractors and trustworthy tradesmen that are experienced in their craft, that they know that they can trust in their house and they don't have to watch them at all times. And then also we can really start to craft the reason why, fast, quick estimates or consults, not, hey, we're booked out 3 months, I can't see you till then, which is a good problem to have, but there's a good chance you might lose that potential client as well. Money saving offers, everyone likes to save some money. We're not offering $100 off a remodel or something, but anything that might be able to entice them a little bit, any kind of specials that you might be doing. 24 hours a day with no overtime charges for, the HVAC folks out there. Clean cut tradesmen that will leave your house cleaner than when they came in. Oh, and of course, great service, great customer service, and really, really good communication, keeping them in the loop. We know we've got supply chain disasters and delays and all kinds of stuff going on in our industry. So just making sure that you constantly communicate those delays, set those expectations before they come to you. Asking about those expectations will help ease communication problems. And so this is the kind of messaging that we want to be able to use to resonate. Make your company stand out against all your competitors. Look at what your competitors are doing and say, how can I stand out from them with my messaging? So hopefully this was useful. At least it gets you thinking about your messaging and the messaging consistency across your different platforms. And so, we put some concrete goals in place. We've set some targets for ourselves. We've gotten clear on our messaging, making sure that your company communications and your unique message is something that's going to resonate with your ideal customer. The next really important thing is to make sure that your website is built to convert. In today's day and age, all the marketing that you do offline as well as online leads back to your website. It's what we call your digital storefront. And I'll be doing a workshop and more in depth on this next month as well. But your website, it's the hub of everything you do. So whether it's from your SEO, your pay-per-click advertising, your social media outreach, TV ads, radio ads, billboard ads, having your branded and vehicle wrapped trucks out, driving in the community, local neighborhood flyers where you're advertising, any and all of it points back to your website. And so if your website isn't built to convert at the highest level possible, you're going to keep losing out on opportunities and leaving money on the table. So that's why getting your website to convert is so important. We call it conversion rate optimization. And it's all about how you can convert more site visitors into customers. How do you make sure your website is optimized to convert at the highest level possible? Some things you want to do is to make sure your website is built to convert. This is kind of an example that hits on some of the things, but some of the most important conversion elements include having your phone number in the top right-hand corner. This is where everyone has become accustomed to seeing it and looking for it. And then making sure that's a click-to-call number. More people are on their mobile devices nowadays than they are desktop computers. So they just want to be able to click that button and then the call starts right then and there for them. And then having messaging and content copy above the fold. So that, this is kind of the above the fold panel in this image you're seeing here. This is what you would see when you land on this website. Having as much as you can above so they don't actually have to scroll to get to more information they're looking for. You want to have some of that really important information at the top, something that's really going to entice them. Also having strong title tags. I show that up at the top there. So that, Google knows what is that page really about. Unique content on every page. You can't have plagiarized content from page to page, and certainly not stealing someone else's content. Google knows plagiarized content. You will get a penalty for that, just like your teacher gave you a penalty for that back in grade school. Having your reviews and showcasing your great reputation, that is an absolute must nowadays, but making sure you have that on your website, not just expecting people to go to your Google page or look at reviews on Yelp or Facebook or wherever it might be. Showcasing those testimonials on your website, because that's where they're going to be looking. Gives them a chance to see those. We do it where we show the Google reviews being a Google review, and then they can go see that right on Google. So it's not just put reviews in quotes. That could be a real quote, a real person, or it could just be you typing something up and then adding quotes and saying it's real. So the validity of your reviews is going to have a conversion factor too. If people really know that those for sure are real reviews, or it's just something that just, they just typed up and put on this page. So you really want to build that trust. And these are, some of the most important conversion elements just from an aesthetics point of view. One thing that would make this particular website more authentic is to get the owners and their team to add more pictures of themselves, real team photos that showcase them. It lends a lot more authenticity to the company, brings them to life more so. And this is really powerful. People really want to get to know who you are and get a sense of who they're going to be working with and spending potentially a lot of money with. One more thing that people are also considering more is adding chat to your website. We're seeing more and more these days that people are less inclined to chat on the phone initially with you. They're eventually will get to that, but just to get the ball started, they just want to just kind of put a message out there and get going with that. Maybe they're busy right now, they're at work, can't do this on their boss's time, but we're seeing more and more potential customers wanting to engage in chat or just to send an email just to kind of get the ball rolling. This doesn't mean these people don't ever want to talk to you. It just, this is how you get the thing going. They just don't have time for that phone call right now. So, adding a chat box, some kind of a chat widget on your website is going to be the future. It's going to take more time to get there. We were actually just talking about this in the team huddle this morning. More and more people are going to be using chat. Those older folks that was mentioned in the chat earlier, those people are probably never going to adapt, but we've got a whole new younger generation coming up here that's how they're going to want to do business, especially as that younger generation, millennials, start buying homes and becoming your ideal customer as well. Also, this website here would be a lot more powerful. It had some form of multimedia and video on the homepage that greets customers to your website. A video that kind of welcomes them to your website and talks a little bit about who you are, your company values, maybe answers some of their questions. More of a message that's not so much about the technical aspects of what you do and offer, but really is more focused on who you are and how your company works with its valued customers, and maybe something, about how passionate you are about the industry. These are great. These videos, will keep people on your site more, and just lets them know who you are. And we're seeing this example after example. We definitely see more website conversions, more time on site. All these things kind of contribute to better rankings. Google's tracking all that kind of stuff, how many pages they're visiting, what videos they're watching, how much time they're spending on site. So these are, all these things are really important. And then making sure your website is really, it's written more about the customer and their needs than about you and everything that your company does. We see this over and over, we do this and we're great at this and we offer the best customer service. Everyone's saying that. So talk about the customer, try to address their pain points, hot buttons, if you will. And then that messaging is going to resonate a lot more with them, keep them on your site, and almost certainly generate an inquiry for you, which is the start of everything, just getting that inquiry to begin with. And so just to share what can happen here, when you transition a website from poor conversion to an optimized website with conversion elements, this is just a traffic breakdown graph from one of our clients. And you can see where we took over with a site with really poor conversions, nothing really going on. And then all of a sudden, after, optimizing some elements and kind of taking over that poor website setup, boom, you see a huge increase in the amount of traffic that's going on there, amount of phone calls. And so, conversion elements can really, really create that uptick in traffic. And also that uptick in traffic means more phone calls, more opportunities, and hopefully more closed jobs for you. So, in this example, their website traffic went up, their conversions went up, and all of it was directly reflected in this call profile. This bottom graph is a phone call profile. So it's pretty powerful, and no doubt about the effectiveness of how increasing website conversion strategies and using call tracking, things like that, can really be effective for you. So now we understand a little better what it means for your business, having a good website that's built to convert, and how it can really have a massive impact on the number of leads that you can get. This screenshot here is just proof positive that conversion rate optimization really can have an impact. You can see in this example how many leads that you can get across all these different channels. And then when you take your total number of leads, divide by your investment, you're getting leads here at $18 a lead, and not everyone can get that. And certainly if you're looking at some of the lead generation platforms, you're going to be way, way above that. But this is kind of the result of getting that conversion optimization right. And then here's a little cheat sheet is in that. It's also in your workbook. This is what we call our website conversion blueprint. It kind of outlines the key things that you want to make sure you have in place from a design perspective. So just kind of a bird's eye view of some things that you should be doing for your website. If you need this website conversion blueprint, ping me in chat and I'll make sure to send you out a copy of that. But it just kind of talks about some different design things, where to put your logo, where to put the phone number, where people are used to it, making sure you have some great testimonials and social proof on your site, things like that, to just kind of get the basics in order. So, go through your website with an eye toward conversion elements and to really ascertain, is your website truly built to convert? I want you to, just take a couple minutes here and think about this, because this is what we're trying to do. We just don't want to fill our heads with a bunch of information here. We really want to think about and come up with some key insights. Does your website speak to your ideal customer avatar? Does it address their fears and concerns and why they should choose you? Does it have a real authentic imagery, not stock photos, folks? Everyone, quit using stock photos on your website. Google knows those are stock photos. They know the 18,000 other websites out there that are using those exact photos. You're getting penalized for that. Google wants real, authentic companies with real, authentic people, with real, authentic photos, content, everything. So, pictures of your team, staff, videos. You can have multiple videos on your site talking about different topics, different services you offer, giving your customers some insights into who you are as a company. What better way to welcome a visitor to your website than with a video saying, hey, welcome to our website. We're glad you stopped by, yada, yada, yada. And we can help you give some ideas there too. So ping me if you want some ideas on that. Ideally, we'd like to see a welcome video on the homepage and then a separate video for each of your service pages as well that talks about that specific service. So, if you're maybe a video dealing with insurance claims, if you're a water damage restoration company or a roofer, they have a lot of insurance claims, or and a video explaining, clearly why you're the best and why they should choose you over your competition. Not bad mouthing competition, but talking about how, all the positives that make your company really stand head and shoulders above the other companies out there. There's so much competition. How do you win that? And then, showcasing your online reviews, the number of testimonials that you're getting from your happy customers, and then, having those fundamentals in place, a click to call button, leveraging that chat feature I was talking about. Those are going to increase your conversion rates. And then another really important aspect to your marketing strategy, and I know some of you are doing this from the comments I've seen, is having KPI tracking in place and using call tracking. The only way to truly know how much your call volume is coming in, and then being able to quantify each lead. Is it a good lead or is it not a lead at all? And then to quantify your cost per lead for each marketing channel. Only way you can do that is through call tracking. The real elephant in the room right now, and what I feel is the biggest marketing issue facing builders, remodelers, and home improvement companies, and that's unconverted leads. So here's the problem. 50 to 60% of inbound leads leave your website unconverted. This is just all across the board. No one, not everyone comes to your website, immediately calls, and it's just that easy. They don't always make that call. They don't always book that appointment for the consult. And then 90% of the web forms fail to convert. And so why is that? The reason you're getting leads that go unconverted are, one, most people aren't following up with leads immediately. And then those leads go cold. They ghost you. I tell everyone, you have to realize that the average attention span of human beings is about 7 to 8 seconds, about the same as a goldfish. So, if you're not following up with leads quickly, they're moving on to the next contractor. Also, a rule of thumb is you need to be following with that potential customer at least 5 to 7 times before they end up booking an appointment. People are busy these days. Life is hectic. And so you need to make sure you're reaching out at acceptable intervals. Obviously not every day. You're not obnoxious, and use different channels. Use email, use text, use phone calls. Vary it up, and it won't feel as intrusive as you think it is. And then nowadays, a lot of people prefer simple and direct communication to get the ball rolling. I was mentioning earlier, they start out wanting to send some text, maybe convey an idea or two, and then they want to set that appointment up later. So especially for the younger homeowners, they're just not as inclined to be tied to email like my generation is. So it's worth taking a look at. If you can capture just an extra lead or two each month doing that, you're going to be ahead of the game. Leveraging marketing automation so that you can follow up with web forms within the first 2 minutes of receiving the inquiry is really important. So, whether it's by immediate phone follow-up or email follow-up or text, you need to get involved quickly here. So make sure you're monitoring your web forms that come in. Your web forms that come in, they need to come straight to your email, maybe even set up a zap or something to where that web form triggers a text message to you. So oh, I just got a lead, and you see it on your phone, and now you can address that lead right here, right now. And then just trying to automate as much of this as you can so that you can get a minimum touch, a minimum of 5 times touching that potential customer after they've left your website. Typical marketing stats tell us that the final booked sale usually takes anywhere from 13 to 21 times, depending on where you get your stats. So in any case, it is a lot of follow-up that's needed. We have to do that a lot. You guys have to do that a lot. It's just normal, So just make sure you're following up. A lot of people don't. They call, oh, I didn't get a hold of them, and that's it. That lead's gone, and they shouldn't be gone. It shouldn't be that easy to lose a client. So let's use some simple math to illustrate an example of this. Let's say your conversion rate on booking estimates is 30% based on poor follow-up. This is just booking. This is not closing rate. So, based on poor follow-up and poor lead nurture, if that's truly the case, your conversion rate would probably be even worse, probably more like 10%. If you're not following up with anyone. Let's just use 30% here. But then look what happens when you actually implement strong follow-up and nurture those leads for as long as you need to. What we see with most of our clients are booking rates in the 70 to 80% range. So let's say it's only 70%. Look at what that does for your bottom line revenue. It's over 2 times the revenue versus the company with poor follow-up. And notice here, your sales conversion didn't increase. You didn't become a better salesperson all of a sudden. You just followed up more so in the early stages. So would you like to more than double your revenue simply by placing a few more calls and sending some extra text and emails? Obviously there's a strategy behind this. It's not all, done willy-nilly, but suffice to say, improving your lead follow-up will definitely keep you a step ahead of your competition. The result of great lead nurture is that every lead you generate, it makes that lead that much more valuable. A lot of remodelers I talk to about the quality of the leads they get, and this is one facet that can potentially impact the quality of your leads. In other words, getting higher quality leads that feel good, that feel like this could really be a good job for your company, and you're not just chasing your tail and wasting time. So what are your takeaways so far? What have you learned? What will you implement? Remember, my goal for this workshop is for you to take action to improve your online presence by developing a marketing plan, at least some of the action items that you take away from this workshop, implement them. That's what we're looking for. So what I want to do is just take a couple minutes here, just reflect on, what are the 3 conversion elements that you will implement on your website? I talked about a lot of different things you can do, but at a minimum, maybe it's adding some more personality and authenticity. Maybe it's making your online reviews and testimonials on your website, making sure they're displayed more prominently. So I'd love to hear from a handful of you all in chat. I want you to write this down, because otherwise, what's the point of being on here, if you're not going to implement these things? So what are 3 things that you might implement to make sure your website can convert at the highest level possible. Catherine said, adding authentic team images and getting rid of stock photos. Yeah, exactly. Get rid of stock photos. First thing, before the day is out. Tom also said, I really like the idea of real team photos. Seems way more authentic. Yeah, exactly. Ali said, we have every position at our companies on our website with a photo as well as a video by each employee expelling their position. Yeah, that's awesome. Great to hear, Ali. I love when I go to about pages and you see the people, you see the faces, maybe in a video. They talk about their outdoor pursuits, what they do outside of work, and you go, oh my God, this person's also a Star Wars fanatic like me. I want to talk to this person, whatever that may be. Again, it goes to authenticity. Those are some really good ideas. All of these things could be implemented. All of them should, but at least take 2 or 3 things away from this and implement it. So good stuff, everyone. Thank you for the feedback. Keep the comments rolling in as well. Love to see the interaction engagement. So step 4 of building your marketing plan is to make sure we know our KPIs, especially as it relates to our marketing KPIs. And just so everyone knows, a KPI is a key performance indicator. These are your goal tracking metrics. And it's something that we use in our company for all of our employees. Every single employee has their own goals and KPIs. And we even break down our KPIs to every quarter as well. This helps to make sure that we always have our eye on the ball, so to speak, all year long. So for example, with call tracking, which I am a huge proponent of, there's no sense doing any online marketing if you don't have call tracking in place where you can see exactly how many calls came in. So you want to make sure that you're able to see what your average cost per lead generated is, or your average cost per call. Those are going to be different. Because it needs to be within a manageable level, either from paid search or from SEO or from whatever online marketing you're doing. Once you know, okay, this is my average cost per lead, this is my average ticket, this is my average lifetime customer value from a particular customer, and that cost per lead is ROI positive, now you can scale it up. Because if you're ROI positive, if you put in $1 and your marketing investment gives you $10 back, well, let's stand at that slot machine all day long. If you're ROI positive, keep doing it more and more. Whatever's working works. When it stops working, when that ROI starts to level off, now okay, no more money in ads. We've reached our limit. Putting more money in doesn't get us any more leads. Okay, you've got that dialed in now. So that helps you know when you can start scaling things up. This is really important because no matter how much you're spending on marketing monthly, whether it's $500 a month or $5,000 a month or $50,000 a month, you don't want to be afraid that you're spending too much. As long as you're ROI positive, it doesn't matter how much you spend, as long as you're making significantly more than you're spending. That's where you need to be. That's what ROI tracking is all about. So you need to have, some kind of a basic KPI dashboard in place where you can see, your metrics. And so this is an example of a KPI board that I showed earlier. Something that you can look at and say, okay, I want to make sure I have, something similar to this. How much did I spend? This would be management fees from a marketing company like ours. It can include your pay-per-click ad spend on Google that Google's charging you. It could also be your Facebook ad spend, any directories you're paying for, boosting your social media posts on Facebook, which I don't really advocate for, but that's a story for a different day. Basically, what's your total marketing investment, and then how many leads came in, and that should be aggregated too from what leads are SEO, what leads are pay-per-click, Google Maps marketing, your Google business profile, in other words, like whatever the source is. You need to know the total number of leads from that exact source, and then you can get that average cost per lead from that exact source. And then you want to be able to tell where those leads are coming from. How many came from organic and straight from your website? How many came from a pay-per-click ad or from Google Maps or How many came from your web forms? Hey, web forms are converting at a much higher rate. Okay, well, let's do more of that. Or how can we make our web forms more enticing or get more people to use them? Not everyone even has a web form on their website, I've seen. So you definitely want to make sure that's something you're looking at. Another example, Google local service ads. What's your cost per lead and how much revenue is generated? We're going to talk about those a little more because that's one of the newest things, kind of really starting to work itself into the remodeling industry, especially. But how much is your cost per lead? How much revenue is generated from all your different sources? So there could be a lot of layers to this. It really depends on how analytical you really want to be, and if you're really truly a bean counter at heart, like I am. But at a minimum, you need to know, your spend and your number of leads and your average cost per lead. Then that next layer is to be able to break that down by marketing channel. And then the next layer is to know your true revenue and expenses for your overall return on investment figures that you're doing on a monthly or at least annual basis. All right, so we've got clear targets for 2023, clear where we want to go, what the monthly is, how many leads we need to generate to get there. We got clarity on our marketing message, the media, the 3 M's of marketing. We got really clear on how to distinguish ourselves versus the competition. We looked at the website, made sure it's built to convert, came up with some specific things that you want to do to enhance your conversion rates. We've set up a simple KPI board. You guys can do this on like a whiteboard even in your office, just to know, is your marketing working? And if not, what's wrong? And if it is working, then how can we scale it up? And then from here, what I really want to do is help you build your 2000 marketing plan, talk about the very specific things you could and should implement to really maximize your 2023 results. This is what we call our online dominance method. And I just want to kind of breeze through this. It's in your workbook. Again, if you need this, let me know. But ultimately, we've talked about having a good website. And I really believe it starts with a strong foundation of on-page SEO as well as the off-page SEO, backlinking, building authority through your site, through press releases, that sort of thing. The lion's share of the leads and calls that our clients get come from Google Organic and Google Maps, no doubt. Lion's share of the phone calls. They're the lowest cost per lead. They also tend to be the highest quality. And this is across all industries, all clients that we work with. We've studied this ad nauseum. So really important to know which channels are really the ones that you should be investing in. You want to make sure you've got a good organic SEO strategy that gets you ranked for the most important keywords in your area. And when I say get you ranked for industry-related keywords, whether it be remodeling company or roofer or insulation contractor, you need to be thinking about all the different services that you provide and the multitude of keywords that people are using to find you. Your target keywords, depending on how many services you offer, your target keywords could literally number into the hundreds. In order to do that, there's things that you need to do on your website related to all those keywords. You need to have pages for each of your services, pages for the cities that you operate in. And you need to be building backlinks and building authority, like I mentioned earlier, through additional directory citations. And then, of course, make sure that you're gathering reviews for your company. Reviews, obviously, you guys know by now, are very, very important. This is second in our blueprint, your company's reputation. As Warren Buffett famously said, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently. That's a powerful statement. I love that quote, and we all know how important your reputation is. Number 3 is paid search. Again, you want to show up in all the places where your customers are looking. And to me, pay-per-click and local service ads kind of go tandem. You want to make sure that you're showing up in the paid listings and you've got clarity on what your cost per lead via paid listings is, and that you're maximizing the number of leads that can come through Google local service ads. If you want to scale your company, you're looking to go from 2 million to 10 million or 5 million to 50 million. You really want to try to achieve some large scale in your company, you're going to have to do more than just SEO. You're going to have to do paid advertising. If you're not looking to go to 5 or 10 million, you're just looking to get to 200,000 to 2 million, you don't need to do paid ads. SEO can get you there. So you need to think about your goals and then what channels are going to be best for those goals. Next piece that kind of goes hand in hand with the paid search which I label as number 4 here, is your retargeting. We know that a certain percentage of people that get to a website, they're looking for your services. They're interested in what you do, but somehow they just don't convert. They leave the website, that's it. It's usually like something like 85% of the people, they get to your website, they end up not calling in, they don't submit a web form on that first visit. So no conversion, in other words. So retargeting gives us the ability to remain top of mind with them over the next 90 days or so. We know they're twice as likely to become a customer if we can just get them back to our website for a second look. And then next is being in the paid online directories. This varies on a market-to-market basis. Tapping into Yelp, tapping into YP.com, tapping into Angie's List if you've had good success there previously. Looking at some things like Nextdoor that are becoming more and more popular. You really want to experiment with this. You want to show up in all the places that your customers are looking. And if you're generating a positive ROI there, then it makes sense to be in some of these channels. We say, if it works, do it. If Home Advisor works for you, do it. Most of the time it doesn't, but if it works, great. Then that's just one more iron in the fire for you. Next is paper lead services, which includes Google local service ads, which I do believe is a must for just about everybody where it's active. Thumbtack and other paper lead mechanisms. Some of those, like I said, Home Advisor, they offer the lowest return on investment that you can generate, the lowest quality. Home Advisor is probably, the most mentioned in this vein, the highest cost, lowest conversion. I'm not really a big fan of some of these sites. Some work a little better than others. I'll let you decide which one works for you, which one has the best quality leads, and which has leads that are so far off the mark that it's even hard to call them leads. But if they're working, use those marketing channels. And then number 7, social media advertising, which is becoming more and more popular. This is strategically targeting your customer demographic on Facebook or Instagram. Those are kind of the 2 biggest. I believe this type of marketing is probably the last thing that you should be looking at. It simply does not provide the return on investment that you're looking for. And in fact, it's often difficult to even determine what your ROI is from social media. Remember, most people aren't visiting social media sites like Facebook just because they're looking for a new kitchen remodel. Those people are going to Google for that. So much better to spend some time developing a social media content calendar and staying active and engaging with potential customers that way, but actually running ads on Facebook, not quite as effective. But social media is important, but you also always need to remember, and I'll be doing a workshop on social media later this year. Social media is about brand building. It's not a lead generation strategy. We've turned people down because all they wanted to do was social media to get more leads. And we're like, those don't go in the same sentence together. Social media is about building your brand, building awareness, engaging with your following, your customer base. But it's not a lead generation strategy. You might get some leads from there, but it's not a lead generation strategy like Google is, or paid advertising, things like that. And then last but not least is your referral and rewards program. Have some type of follow-up mechanism that sends a thank you card to your customer. Put something physical in their hands after a service call or remodeling project is completed. This will go a long way to generate more repeat and referral business if you incentivize them a little bit. You can also leverage email marketing here. All of you guys should have a database with all the names and emails of all your customers, all your prospects. All you should be touching them at least once a month via email, some kind of an email newsletter even. But you want to stay top of mind, generate that top of mind awareness. That's going to drive more referral business for you. It's the cheapest way to remain top of mind, and it really will drive more activity for you. Repeat and referral business, one of the best marketing mechanisms out there. The only downfall is it only takes you so far. At some point, you just don't get enough referrals to keep growing or to keep your crews busy year round. So for your company, think about what marketing channels you need to improve on or start putting some energy towards. It's not going to be the same for everyone on this call. So think about where your company is at specifically, and then what you need to do to increase, in one or more aspects of this online dominance method here. And so I want to talk about the biggest trends in 2023. just to kind of emphasize some of the big things that may be going on that you may not be involved in, things you need to be aware of, things that you need to be paying attention to that are definitely going to impact the results going into 2023 and beyond. The first is Google local service ads. And I know a lot of you are probably already utilizing these leads. The next is the shift from people wanting to call into you to wanting to message you and or schedule right through your website. So kind of what I was talking about before, just a change in how people are interacting online. And then the need to be more all in with various multi-channel advertising mechanisms. You can't just be doing SEO anymore or utilizing just one channel for your marketing. Google is in business to make money and make a lot of it. They certainly do. How they do this with all their paid advertising to the tune, I think it's about $100 billion per year or something really crazy. So they've placed local service ads at the top since it's their newest toy. You see those at the top of the search results, the Google guaranteed ads, in other words. They've still got the pay-per-click listings below those, so they're still kind of at the top of the page. They're right underneath the local service ads. In the markets and limited industries that local service ads are running in. And then finally below that, they've got the maps and the organic listings, the SEO stuff. So they want to get their paid stuff up there, but you definitely don't want to fall asleep on SEO. Your organic results are moving down the page a little more. And so you may have to start thinking about being in the paid listings. But you really should be playing with in the local service ad space. Otherwise, you're going to be missing a lot of opportunity. And local service ads are definitely growing, and we're seeing those in almost every market now, besides just a couple. So you want to make sure you have a dynamic strategy that really is not just focused on SEO alone. The biggest thing to pay attention to with Google local service ads, sometimes referred to as Google guaranteed listings. Most of you are familiar with these at this point. It's those ads that are shown at the top of the page, up above the pay-per-click. Like I said, it's in most markets for the United States, but we were looking for an installation contractor, and some of their keywords will show some local service ads, some won't. So same with kitchen remodeling keywords. Most of them are showing local service ads, some don't, and it's all about the intent, what Google thinks the intent of that keyword is. So you'll see some ads for some keywords, some ads you won't see at all for other keywords, and that's why. So where are Google local service ads available now? Almost all major markets, and for most of the contractors I work with, but there are definitely still some gaps that are out there. So if you're not seeing local service ads in your market, make sure you stay in tune, put that on your checklist to keep looking back to, because we're seeing some great results for this. And it's just, if you're a remodeler or a roofer, God, those clients are really killing it with local service ads. So that's something to definitely take a look at. The other thing you'll notice is the Google guarantee that comes up under those listings. What that means really is Google's doing a background check on you. They're checking your license. And so if a customer is not happy, Google's going to eat the cost of your service. They're going to take the loss on that. So they're really trying to give the customer a reason to book through Google local service ads. This is really what this is. It's like a paper lead, kind of like a home advisor. It's a paper lead, but Google's guaranteeing it. And Google's local service ad fees are way more competitive, usually about half to a third of the price of other lead gen platforms. So again, an attractive option worth looking at for some of you here on the call today. Definitely take a look and do a little more to do research on these for your market. And so you can see here on the left, Google's literally stacked the deck in its own favor, which is not too shocking, really. Almost everything above the fold, like this is what I see when I come to this page without scrolling. So above the fold, the top half of the page, everything is a Google paid service. You got the local service ads in yellow, and you've got the pay-per-click ads in green. So they kind of tend to capture all of people's attention when they get to that page. And then you actually have to scroll to see the stuff on the right, the Google Maps and the Google organic listings. So if you're not already in a Google local service ad program, you need to consider it. If you're not yet, it's probably because there's a big process, to the background check, to getting all your employees' background check, showing proof of insurance and proof of verification. All of it is worth the effort. Trust me. Really pay attention. Get added to the waiting list and get everything in place if it's not ready in your market. And then, of course, pay attention to your ROI for this new marketing channel. In terms of Google local service ad cost, it's different from every market, from Denver to Dayton to Miami to San Francisco. It's also different for each individual type of service. So a roofer may pay more than an installation contractor who won't pay as much as a remodeler. So the costs are going to vary, typically around $50 per lead. We were just looking at some this morning, and one of our home builder clients got a qualified lead for $33. $33, and he's got someone to talk to about building a custom home. I mean, gosh, again, you'll stand in line all day for that kind of return. So it's going to be different, $30, $40, $50, $60 around there. And if they're qualified leads, you pay for it. If they're not, you don't pay for it. You might have to dispute some of those with Google. We do that for our clients to take that off your plate. You got enough to do, but it's a great return on investment. So definitely something to look at. What the results have shown us so far is you're still going to have some looky-loos and price shoppers. But one thing is you need to follow up very quickly. Pretty much everyone that's on local service ads that we've helped facilitate this for them, we help manage the ads for them, we track the calls for them, we track their investment, we up their budget, lower their budget, do whatever they need. We kind of manage this for them so they don't have to. But in general, everyone loves the local service ads. There's never really any complaints at all, besides maybe a lead that they need to dispute. We actually run that dispute process for them, so they don't have to do that either. But the ROI has been really good. The average cost per lead has been really good. So my suggestion is to really take a long, hard look at these and see if it's something that's going to be good for your company. And if you do them, I would caution you, make sure you manage them. You really got to be in there managing them. And there are a lot of kind of ins and outs and tricks to that. Again, I'll be doing a Google Local Ad Service webinar later this year as well. But these leads are going to be significantly better than you get through Home Advisor. So if you've got a stigma around pay per lead kind of platforms, and the leads just being lower quality or just price shoppers or whatever, Google local service ads is different from those other platforms. They're going to be your typical good quality leads. People go to Google to find the services that they're looking for. So they're going to be a good quality lead. People go to some of those other lead gen platforms just to kind of kick the tires a little bit, get some bids in, get the creative juices flowing. So they're not as high quality. The intent is not quite there, or the intent is there, and the intent really is to take the lowest price that they can get. So again, you guys all know that about those lead gen providers. But the Google local service ads, some of the lowest cost per lead you can get, and better than pay-per-click as well. Google's pay-per-click. Google's pay-per-click, you're paying for clicks. And so you need to get X number of clicks in order to get Y number of calls, and in order to get, Z number of actual, booked consults. So it takes a lot more with pay-per-click, takes a lot more money. And Google local service ads typically are not showing that trend at all. So pay-per-click can be a little expensive, still going to be a good return on investment. Certainly not the best though. And when you look at the other opportunities, SEO, Google Maps marketing, which we call local SEO, or Google local service ads. But open your budget up here if you can. It's one of the highest quality leads and the lowest cost leads that you can get. And it's certainly somewhere that you should be looking for 2023 if you're looking to grow your lead volume, grow your company. What you need to do to get signed up for Google local service ads, you basically got to get all that background check done and all the follow through. They want the insurance verification, all that stuff. So, make sure that you use the platform, you gauge the ROI on that. But right now, it's going to give you a competitive advantage if you're using this platform and really, really diving into it. So Go here to sign up, do all your info. Basically, the business owner has to do some of that because you've got to provide some of the stuff that we as a marketing consultant don't have, but we can also help you through that process as well. So what's your plan for 2023? Make sure to map it out and then have 3 things that you're going to execute on. Are you going to be diving into local service ads? Or are you ready to jump into SEO and really start getting some prime page 1 visibility on Google's first page? Are you going to start paying more attention and thinking about pay-per-click advertising, Google PPC, or maybe starting to get that newsletter, email newsletter going? From our online dominance world, there are many marketing channels that you can be utilizing, but the key is to pick 2 or 3 of the best options that are the best fit for your company, and pick marketing channels that you're most interested in and that you'll pay the most attention to. Because if you say, "Oh, I'm gonna jump into social media full bore here," and you hate social media, you don't ever go on social media to post, there's a good chance that your social media posting strategy is going to fall short, and then you're going to end up quitting, and you're going to be like, "Well, that didn't work. I don't even know why I started social media." Do something that you're more interested in tracking. That's going to help you stay consistent. And so when it comes to to defining marketing success, the proof is really in the pudding. Return on investment. Is your marketing investment giving you a positive ROI number for the different marketing channels that we're looking at here? And so I wanted to just share a quick case study, just going to show you some of this in motion so that you don't think that all this is just theory, something I read on SEO Journal or something like that. But when you get your marketing right, this is kind of what's possible. This is a company down in Florida, great people, roofing general contractor, and now they've even expanded even more. But this is a company that we've been able to grow from no visibility online, couldn't be found, to now where they're number 1 for hundreds of their keywords, multiple 7 figures. Great people to work with, very personal. I love these guys, husband and wife team, because they're very active in their community. They're always giving back. Just good people, the kind of people that you want to do business with. They're also growth oriented. They're very goal oriented, really smart. Husband and wife team run this company, but they're serious about business too. And then the first thing we did was rebuild their website and get rid of one of those mass-produced websites that they had, one of those templated websites that never tend to rank well in the search engines. They're just not built for SEO. And they're also a clone of some other website that's being used in the other 50 states. We've seen that. 2 different companies, same exact website, just changed the name. That's what those big box marketing providers do. They just give you a template. We build everything custom, just start from a blank slate. Much better SEO that way. But we built a website that's ready to convert. We've got a lot of authority in there built in, and then the rankings quickly followed, helping them build that 5-star reputation as well, helping them follow up with customers to get some online feedback across different platforms, showcasing those reviews, personal photos, things like that. Obviously makes their website more authentic. And then we've got a media room built in their site that does digital PR for them, builds authority by pushing their content, pushing their news and their stories out to other news and media sites. So building that authority has been huge. And then obviously a big focus on Google Maps marketing. And then, when you look at the results, just nothing short of impressive. Just looking at last year, a lot of folks get kind of fixated on rankings and positioning, things like that. But what really matters, and what we always talk about on calls with our partners, our client partners, is ROI. And what better way to track ROI than call tracking implementation to verify all those calls and the intent of all those calls. So, you can see here, over 150 calls a month, or not quite, keeping them and their crews busy, 12 months a year with construction, roofing projects, marine construction, and then you look at closing, just based on closing 1 out of 3 leads, the ROI, is quite significant there, 15,000%. And even if you drop the closing rate to 1 in 5, we're still looking at a 9,000% potential ROI there. So Obviously, not every lead's going to become a job. Not every lead's even going to turn into a consult, but it just shows you the potential of being able to track this and know what's working for you and what's not working. So, think about what you can contribute to your own digital marketing strategy. It could be optimizing, improving your website for better conversions, implementing an SEO strategy to go along with optimizing your Google Maps, which the Google Maps really commands a lot of consumer intent and attention. So you definitely want to make sure that you're focused there as well. And then, the other things, strongly building that reputation, whatnot. Real quick, just here's another client of ours where we rebuilt their website, made a bunch of improvements in that regard, much more modern, more minimalistic website, not so cluttered and crowded. We're still working on some other strategies for them, still trying to get them to get more reviews and things like that. But, overall, the results have been great. Again, an average of 32 qualified leads a month. As a remodeling company doing kitchens, home renovations, home additions, 32 leads a month. That's really all they want. They don't need 50 or 100. Give them 32, let them close 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4. And they're going to keep growing and growing based on that. Their cost per lead is only $54. I mean, show of hands, how many people would pay $54 for a bona fide, qualified person calling you saying, hey, I'd like to talk to you about my kitchen remodel. $54 to do that. All day long, I would hope. Closing rates, ROI, still great, 6,000, 8,000%. If you can achieve that kind of return on your marketing investment, you're really going to be doing pretty well for your company in the long run. So we've covered a lot of ground here. I've given you this worksheet to develop your own custom 2023 marketing plan. Really what you do is spend about 5 minutes just kind of going over the different things that you can do here to make sure that your marketing plan is going to grow this year in terms of some things that you're going to do, some things that you're going to look at doing. Remember, planning to succeed starts with clear goals. Having clear goals is like having the wind at your back, pushing you along towards your goals, because those goals are always front and center in your mind. And your marketing plan should involve all the marketing channels working in synergy together. Otherwise, your marketing strategy will be too scattered and disconnected from everything that should be driving your growth plan. So, all marketing channels that are effective for your business, all working together in unison, that's really the goal. So, top 3 initiatives, just kind of a reminder here. What are you going to do? More authentic photos, maybe jumping into Google local service ads, implementing chat, getting more reviews. What are you going to be doing to actually improve your digital marketing for this year? Any key takeaways from anyone as we start to wind down here? We've covered a lot of ground. I'd love to hear from you. Any key takeaways in chat? Anything that you guys would be willing to share with me that you want to implement, or you really felt like you've got some good value from? Would love to hear it. And then just to sum up here, we covered your goals for 2023. The 3 fundamentals of market, message, media match, making sure your message resonates, in other words, as well as to optimize your website for conversions in 2023 and beyond. That's going to be our next webinar next month, so keep an eye out for that. The big picture of all the different online marketing channels you should be paying attention to. The things that are really hot in 2023 that you want to make sure you know about and are tapping into. And then developing your custom plan. These are the main things that you really need to think about and focus on as you develop that marketing plan going into 2023 and beyond. So, if all this seems overwhelming, and we hear that a lot, in fact, I've seen that comment a couple of times. If you'd like some help, you can, reach out to us. We can help you kind of dial on your 2023 marketing plan review. We do those free of charge, just kind of give you an idea of what you need to be focused on in terms of a marketing plan. So if you're interested in that, you can post that in chat or reach out to me. We can kind of go over a marketing plan for you. Like I said, no charge, nothing to sell. Just want to help you develop a plan that's going to start moving your company forward. There's always things that you can improve on. We just want to see folks hitting their goals and doing better with their companies. That's kind of a wrap. I want to thank everyone for being here today. It's been an honor to spend this time with you, and hopefully you feel more prepared to crush it in 2023. For our clients that were on here, thank you so much for your business as well. Love working with you guys, seeing you on here. For everyone else, thank you again for being on our workshop. Give us a call if you have any questions, or if you want to book an appointment with me. You can book an appointment as well to just kind of sit down and talk about what's going on. Home Remodeler SEO/discovery-call. This will take you straight to my calendar, and we can get something on calendar and just kind of talk about where you're at. But otherwise, that's a wrap for me. I'm going to go ahead and close the session here. I hope you're able to pull a lot of value out of this webinar, and I'll look forward to talking to you guys again soon. Thanks a lot. Have a great rest of your day.